And say what's that?
Yes, serious.
All right, folks, so the U.S. has hit pause on student visa appointments. It's a move that could impact many Jamaicans hoping to study there. And what about those who are already there? We've got immigration attorney Caroline Stevenson joining us now to help us understand what this means and what students should do next. Good morning. How are you?
Morning, Caroline.
Morning. Good morning. Good to be with you guys.
Oh, boy, it's good to be with you, too. I feel like we're on a bit of a roller coaster with these visa. It's the first time we have a lockdown of everybody, but it's been a bit of a tenuous time over the last couple of months, no?
Yes, it has been. It has been, and it has been crazy for practitioners, attorneys who are trying to figure out and navigate and advise clients. It's been, very challenging, to say the least.
Tell me about this time, Caroline. I mean, how long have you been practicing there? And tell me how you are rising to meet these ever-changing challenges in this very short space of time.
Well, I've been practicing for 15 years, and I've never seen, during the first Trump, administration, there was initially a lot of chaos, especially regarding admissions into the United States for even permanent residents, for non-citizens. But that eventually subsided, and there was a lot of legal actions in 2016 as well. But with this time, it seems as if the anxiety level has increased a lot, especially for students, and for lots of persons here who are undocumented, because the stance of the government is essentially one that's anti-immigrants. It's not immigrant friendly. So, it's a lot of anxiety, and you have to be constantly trying to keep abreast in terms of, change in policy, how do you now advise your clients properly? That has been, a real problem.
Yep.
Because it's so shifty. It's constant change and unpredictability in the system.
Yeah. They said they are going to expand social media screening and vetting to all applicants for student visa. I think I know the answer to this, but what does that mean?
It means essentially that they're going to be scouring the internet to see your activities. And if you're a foreign student who is seeking to come into the United States, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, has said that as recently as last week, that they are essentially pausing the appointments or interview appointments for student visa applicants until they can have some kind of effective guidelines to vet what you have been doing on social media to determine if, for example, you have expressed, support for terrorists, or to determine that if you have expressed anti-Semitic views. So, that's what it means.
Caroline, is that legal?
If it is legal?
Yeah.
That is yet to be seen, because essentially persons, we have the constitutional provision that says you have the right to freedom of speech, you have the right to freedom of expression, right? This is something that is a tenet, right, of the U.S. Constitution. And in the face of all what is going on, it would seem as if, there is some chilling effect.
Yeah.
In terms of the policy of the government regarding, what you can express or may not express on social media.
Right.
Yep. I don't know if you know, but I'm a high school football coach.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry to jump in. You want to finish your point?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I said, I don't know if you know, but I'm a high school football coach. And not me, but fortunately, we've had a number of student athletes who have been given full scholarships to go to the universities in the United States. One this year has already got the visa to go, and one is waiting for an appointment. The one who has already got the visa, is he in any problems here?
No, I would say he's fine, right? There is nothing to indicate that the State Department is saying that this new vetting system or guidelines that they're trying to come up with is retroactive in its implications.
Okay,
right?
And the next kid, he needs to be there for August. School starts in September, but he needs to be there for August. How long will this pause be?
Well, the State Department, what we're hearing from the State Department, that they expect to have some kind of effective guidelines usually within weeks. This is what they're saying, within weeks or at best months. I think that this juncture they're probably strategic about it too, because we're at the point in the school year where most persons are graduating from school,
Yeah.
or they are, this is where they're entering vacation
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
right?
And applying
So,
to, and enough people applying and waiting to get in.
yeah, indeed. But my advice to these individuals is to continue to do what you need to do, right? We know that the interviewing process is at the tail end of the process, right? Before that, they would have need to gotten that their I-20 approved from the designated school official that they have been working with. They would have need to complete their non-immigrant visa application online. So my advice to these students is do what it is that you need to do to get to the tail end, which is the interviewing part of the process. So, and in the interviewing part of the process, still continue to prepare for it. Make sure that once you go for this interview that the pause has been lifted, of course, that you can articulate why you need to come into the United States to study, that you have the financial resources that's going to facilitate you paying for tuition, and that you meet all the other requirements. So, my advice is continue to do what you need to do until, you are eventually called in for your interview.
Karen, what are the implications for students who are already there? As you have stated, the policies seem to be shifted. Today it could be one thing, tomorrow you could hear something else. I know people who are already there, given a lot of the things we've been hearing, are on tenterhooks right now because they're not sure what could happen next month, next week, tomorrow. What are you hearing from them, and what protection do they have that, they're not going to be told soon that they need to go home?
That's a good point. That's a good point. But my advice to students is that, don't go online and to try to do anything that's morally reprehensible, right? Know your morals, and don't advocate for anything that is going to, cause violence or suggest that you're, um, you are seeking to have violence be used at a particular against a particular individual or institution, right? Articulate, what you want to articulate, but be mindful and deliberate in terms of how you do it, right? That would definitely be my advice. Nevertheless, students, we, here in the United States, we still believe that there is due process. In as much as how many persons out there would see, because of these changes, and they're almost dictator-like in terms of how they are being presented, right? That the due process is no longer in place. But yes, we continue, and as practitioners, we must recognize that due process exists. So if it's a situation that a privilege that was extended to you, or a right that was previously extended to you is now being revoked, then you have the due process right to challenge that in court, right? And we can expect that even when the Trump administration eventually comes out with these guidelines regarding social media vetting, that it will be challenged in court, right? Yes, delays may, ensue as a result, but at the same time, we have to recognize that, nobody's above the law, even the president of the United States.
Yep. Is this just about students, or are they doing this with everyone who wants a visa to go to the United States?
I don't believe that this is just about students, but we can look at the example of Harvard and recognize that it's really not just about students, right? The government believes that, for example, that the liberal leanings of these institutions, and also is one that is antagonistic to them politically, maybe, right, or antagonistic to a particular conservative viewpoint. And they're using politics in a way to restrict others from accessing certain privileges.
Yeah, I hear you talk about due process and habeas corpus and all the rest of it. We don't see, or we see situations where, students who are here legally are there legally are literally being taken off the streets, and, it's just incredible to witness. So your advice to incoming students, just keep your application going, and your advice to students there, just fly under the radar-ish until everything is safe.
Exactly. And also try to, be in compliance with the terms under which your student visa was issued. So if you're already here in the US and you're studying, make sure that you maintain the necessary full-time enrollment status. If, for example, because of illness or other, hardship that you're experiencing, you're unable to maintain full-time status, make sure you communicate that information to your designated school official. That way you don't jeopardize your status. And once you are no longer in compliance, you're susceptible to deportation or removal from the U.S. So my advice is make sure that you maintain all the necessary requirements so that you maintain good standing.
Thanks, Ms. Stevenson. God bless you.
Thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good
Yeah,
to
man,
have
our
you.
pleasure. Caroline Stevenson, immigration attorney. Coming up, we discuss the Windrush Justice Initiative. Sam Rooney will have that one. Soon come.